our participants. I welcome all the participants again, as well as our resource person, Dr. Ravindranath Pati, Dr. Okosodo A. Francis, Dr. M.K. Jaina, and also the selected presenter, Dr. Sunasira Misra, Alka Varsni, and Dr. Anandini Raut, and also I thanks to our academic head Dr. S.P. Mahapatra for the constant encouragement to carry out all the workshop as well as the webinar and conference from time to time in this pandemic situation. So now it is the term our resource person Dr. Ravindranath Pati, ex-professor biodiversity and sustainability, Makerere University, Ethiopia, consultant CTRD Odisha, and all of you know Dr. R.N. Pati, an eminent biodiversity consultant and conservationist of India, received his PhD degree in social anthropology from Utkal University. He started his career as assistant director, Population Research Center, Utkal University in 1983. He has been associated as development consultant with projects sponsored by international agencies like World Bank, East West Population Institute, USA, Danida, and NORAD. He has been honored with most prestigious Rajiv Gandhi Sadhavana Award as the best social scientist of Odisha in 2003. He has gained international reputation for his academic excellence and research contribution to documentation of indigenous knowledge, biodiversity conservation, and development of policy documents on intellectual property right of indigenous innovators. He has directed 32 major research projects and 27 development projects implemented in coastal and tribal district of Odisha with financial assistance from various international development agencies like NORAD, World Literacy of Canada, and others. He has participated in 16 international conferences as speaker as well as chairman of technical sessions. He has authored 14 books and 52 research articles published in various peer-reviewed international journals. He has coordinated the most spectacular global summit like first global summit on sustainable development and biodiversity in 2008. 7 to 9th February 2009 at Raipur and first international conference on conservation, marketing and patenting of medicinal plants, Chhattisgarh, Harfest 2009. He has gained international recognition as an expert on sustainable development and conservation of medicinal plants. We all are fortunate by getting this type of resource person in international virtual conference on ethnomedicine challenges and opportunities in global healthcare scenario. So all the participants, I hope you will be encouraged by getting the most important information from Dr. R.N. Pati. Now it is the time to Dr. R.N. Pati to give concrete and informative in this pandemic situation that will be helpful our participants so that they can fight against COVID-19. Now over to Dr. R.N. Pati. Sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Biswajit Mahapatra. And I also express my thanks and gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Sirish Chandra Agrawal, and the other organizers of the seminar. Today, my talk is on traditional healing system is key to biodiversity conservation among tribal communities of Chhattisgarh. When I was consultant to State Medicinal Plant Board with support from UNDP, Dr. Agrawal was also coordinating with me. I conducted this study in 14 tribal villages of Bastar on two tribes, Halba and Gand. Both these tribes are treated sustainable tribes because they are self-sufficient, for they are managing their resources on sustainable basis. In this presentation, I will explain you key dimensions of ethno healing practices practiced by these two tribes, how they are adopting holistic health care what are the challenges and threat to these ethno-healing practices, how they used multi-medication approach, what are their therapeutic methods, what are the purification practices, what is the coping mechanism, and what are the guiding principles they adopted. These principles are applicable to all ethno-healing practices carried out by not less than 645 tribes across India. As you know, the ordinarily we can classify healthcare system into three types: popular self-medication by lay people, then folk healing treatment by traditional healers and shamans, and treatment by doctors. Next. What is ethnomedicine? Ethnomedicine is a indigenous therapeutic practice for treatment of illness. The tribal people and indigenous people, they adopt this indigenous explanatory model for treating illness, and that is supported by indigenous medical system. So this, under this practice, they adopt administration of plants with combination of spirituality, medicinal ingredients from animals' body, and natural environment. In India, out of 25,000 medicinal plants, the tribal healers, they use 2,500 plants for treatment of diseases. As per definition of World Health Organization, ethnomedicine knowledge, belief, which incorporates plants, animals, mineral-based medicines, spiritual therapies, manual techniques, and exercise applied singularly or in combination to maintain well-being as well as the treat, diagnose, and prevent health. This is the definition of World Health Organization. But from my research, what I find, it combines holistic healthcare, which is not present in modern medicine, modern system of treatment. The ethnomedicine system boosted your one's self-healing mechanism. It combines physical, mental, spiritual, and social health. This is very important. Then it promotes balance between physical and spiritual and natural world. So you will find when even the best experts from medical colleges and doctors, they cannot cure the bone fractures, but bone specialists, bone setters of Odisha and Chhattisgarh, they have combined herbal medication with spiritual medication, and they very well provide cure to bone fracture within very short period, and miraculously they have treated many patients with their great satisfaction. So next slide please. Concept of illness relates to causes which are created by natural, human, and supernatural powers. So diseases are characterized by pathological characteristics and treated by professional doctors in modern medical system. But these diseases are treated and interpreted differently by our shamans, healers, where they combine different approach to treat the holistic healthcare soul, physic, and mind. Please, next slide. The ethnomedicinal practices are very much associated with cultural and social practices of tribal communities. The it is also related to enforcement of customer rules, their world view, their cultural interpretation of health and sickness, healthcare seeking process, and healing practices, and spiritual aspects of health and sickness. But this system is threatened with many challenges. The spiritual aspect of health and sickness has been ignored by biomedicine practitioners. Enforcement of customary rules in maintaining secrecy habitat disseminating, because you see the tribal healers, they won't allow you see where they get plants. They maintain secrecy. They don't disseminate their knowledge on use of plants and animals, because they believe if they will share this knowledge, their healing power will be vanished. The knowledge and skill have gained through experience from forefather and spiritual process through dreams. This system combines divine aspect of therapy, which is missing in modern medicine system. Then there are many threats and challenges to this system, because this system is not scientifically validated. The system doesn't have scientific basis for treatment, diagnosis, and therapy. The assessment of efficacy of treatment is also so. The system in the approach, they use multi-medication approach. The multi-medication approach means they use plants, animals, minerals, spiritual healers. They use symbolic treatment and they adopt holistic treatment. Holistic treatments means they try to treat one's mind, body, and soul. They summon their ancestors by burning sacred plants, chanting, folk dance, playing musical instruments. And in Africa also, I have observed, in tribal community of India, in Africa, same system, same culture prevails. They use their speaking drums and dance together. They invoke their ancestor. They believe that ancestors live in big trees and mountains. They invite them to be possessed by the healer, and he advised them how to treat the disease by using which type of medication, plant, animal, or any type of sacrifice. Their treatment is symbolic. In Bastar, the Baiga of Gond and Gond community, they use oil from male organs of deer for treatment of impotency, and it is very effective. This is symbolic treatment. So classification of, next slide please. So we have classified the healers into spiritual healers, who they call Gaitas, herbalists who have knowledge, they are ethnobotanists who know about the use of different medicinal plants, then bone setters, then traditional birth attendants. They combine spiritualism with through chanting and sacrifice and dancing, with administration of herbs for relieving self-healing mechanism of the body. They, they maintain a balance and interaction between living and dead for treatment of different diseases. They perform rituals and dance to get blessing from ancestors. Their approach is very different. The approach of ethno healing practices, they adopt holistic approach. They view health disorder within wider ecological spectrum. They relate human health with eco health, because nowadays they believe that imbalance between eco health and human health, between cultural diversity and biodiversity, has led to outbreak of many dangerous viral diseases like COVID-19, HIV/AIDS, swine flu. They view like this. They always maintain balance between physical and ecological world. Their holistic approach covers value, passion, their beliefs, their worldview, social interaction, spiritual orientation relating to their healing practices. Their therapeutic methods are different. They have classified their therapeutic methods into three types: herbal chemotherapy, where they use medicinal herbs, medicinal extract. The second type of therapeutic method is mechanical approach, where they use messaging, bone setting, blood letting, use of medicinal oil. The third is magico-religious therapy, where they perform rituals, dance, chanting, animal sacrifice. This is very interesting. Their approach is very interesting. They also adopt different purification, body, soul, or mind purification practices, which cover bath by use of herbal mixture, steam bath, use of powder, herb in nose and for sneezing, herbal decoction as enemas, cutting skin and putting herbal powder. This is very interesting because their practice, they have, are, they have these practices they have acquired from their forefathers, and this is based on their local knowledge system. The knowledge about herbs, animals, medicinal ingredients, animals and minerals, they have uh, awarded through blessing of ancestors and spirits, which they get through dream, through prayer, and they use this for collection of plants, for selection of rare medicinal plants in the habitat. So they always focus on the blessing of their forefathers and their residing deities. So how they transmit their knowledge to the next generation through training. Mostly they prefer members of their family, their kin members, and suitable disciples selected by their ancestors and their ancestors in the dream. Training involves surrendering to the ancestors, purification through steaming, washing in blood of sacrificed animals, use of multi-medicine with spiritual significance. Okay, next slide, please. So now I will talk about the coping mechanism. No, the one side is coping mechanism, please. Achha. The training cannot see. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. Please come to the indigenous coping mechanism. That is a diagram. Please come to next slide. Dr. Mahapatra, please skip this. Okay. Okay, this one. This is a very interesting slide because here you will see the dynamics of the ethno healing system. Because no, come to that slide. Please come back. Hello, Dr. Mahapatra, please come back to the slide. Okay, this slide, please keep it. They live in three worlds. They maintain balance between these three worlds: supernatural world, natural and human world. There is always interrelationship between these three worlds. They believe supernatural is mother of traditional knowledge and biogenetic research. They draw rain for natural world which grow food, and for which food natural world gives food and life support system to human world. So supernatural world by dream gives indigenous knowledge for use of exploring biogenetic resources and from natural world, so that human world can be survived. So these are interlinked with conservation ethics, spiritual values, customary rules. So this is the indigenous coping mechanism which sustains the ethno healing practices of the tribal communities of the world. Next, their world vision is important. They always consider intangible and tangible.
वीडियो देखो वीडियो रे भी अप डाउन
Tangible cannot be separated. These two components are always used and transmitted together. So the healing and power of diagnosis come to healers from ancestors, gods, and supernatural powers. The cultural and spiritual value are associated landscapes, land, soil, and biospheres, which are controlled by supernatural forces. And they always try to appease supernatural forces, their ancestors, by performing ceremony, rituals, festivals to honor them. Otherwise, their curse will create natural calamity and disease. So values and tradition are always upheld and sustained by the healers. There are three guiding principles. These guiding principles are guiding principles for sustaining and transferring ethno-healing practices and knowledge from one generation to another generation. These guiding principles are principles of reciprocity, principles of equilibrium, principles of duality. What is the principle of reciprocity? Because you find in different community, they practice, observe festivals, seed exchange festival, sharing of knowledge through this festival and bioresources. They observe agro festival, food festival, like you see Nuakhai festival, you see, that is one of the very important festival, where they share practice of knowledge as well as they exchange genetic resources, and this also ensures peaceful coexistence among different communities. sharing of knowledge, manpower and bioresources is very important. The principles of reciprocity is always different communities. This is principles of reciprocity is very important. This is maintains their social cohesion and sharing of experience and knowledge, equitable benefit sharing, and peaceful coexistence. Principles of comes principle of equilibrium. Principle of equilibrium, they always believe that eco health should be maintained in balance with community health. If there is no balance between eco health and community health, it will lead to different outbreak of different diseases. Then biodiversity should be balanced with the cultural diversity. Otherwise, the life support system in this planet will be destroyed. These festivals and rituals, ceremonies, they believe, brings good crops, good rain, no natural calamity. This is their worldview and cultural practices. Then comes principle of duality. Everything has dual functions, tangible and intangible. Genetic resources is tangible and knowledge is intangible. Without knowledge, genetic resources cannot be explored. They believe that male and female, okay, they believe that water is male, female is earth. Water fertilizes earth for crop growing. Biodiversity versus cultural diversity. This is their worldview. These components have strong interrelationship for survival of the earth and life support system in this planet. So this is about the dynamics and details of the ethno-healing practices of major tribes of Bastar area, Chhattisgarh, and their knowledge base and practice within any culture vary from residence, geographical regions, religion and age and gender. The knowledge base and practice healers contribute not only towards sustainable use of medicinal plants but also toward treatment of wide spectrum of human illness like cancer, asthma, toothache, many diseases are there. Next. So this model is applicable to different indigenous community of India and abroad. They use medicinal plants like bark, fruit, flower, latex, leaf, fruit, seed, stem. Gond uses 45 medicinal plants, Holbai uses 41 medicinal plants. This is a micro study, but we have made very in-depth study on their different components of ethno plant practices of these two types. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think this gives you meaningful insight for your future research. Thank you. These are the plants used by them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.